If you're ready to start cooking your very own scalloped potatoes, then you've got to make absolutely sure you have the right spices, the right utensils, and the right spuds in your kitchen. It's important to choose the right variety of potatoes if you're going to scallop them. Starchy, floury varieties like russets or Yukon Golds play a crucial role in achieving the thick, velvety sauce and the distinctive layered structure that define this classic dish. Russet potatoes in particular are known for their high starch content, which makes them ideal for creating a creamy sauce. When cooked, russets break down more easily, contributing to a smooth and luscious texture that envelops the potato slices. This gives scalloped potatoes their signature rich and indulgent flavor. Yukon Golds boast a slightly firmer texture than russets. This allows them to hold their shape a bit better during the baking process. The result is a more defined and structured layering of potatoes, maintaining a balance between creaminess and distinct slices. Ultimately, whether you choose russets or Yukon Golds depends upon your preference for the texture of the final dish. If you lean towards an exceptionally creamy and melt-in-your-mouth experience, opt for russets. If you prefer a bit more texture and distinct layers, then head to the Yukon. And if you like to live dangerously, you can experiment with other floury varieties. Some scalloped potato recipes may advise sautéing onions, garlic, and ground spices to enhance the sauce's flavor. But this approach introduces small, distinct bits to the sauce, potentially compromising its luxurious, smooth texture. A more effective method involves infusing the desired flavors directly into the cream. This process is surprisingly straightforward. Combine the dairy mixture with aromatics like shallots, garlic, and whole peppercorns in a small pot. Bring this mixture to a simmer, then turn off the heat, cover the pan, and allow it to sit for 30 minutes. This lets the aromatics impart their essence into the liquid without introducing undesirable bits to the final dish. Afterwards, strain out the aromatics, leaving behind a subtly flavored cream milk mixture that's ready to elevate the overall taste. This method will ensure that the flavors are seamlessly integrated into the sauce, thereby contributing to a more refined, velvety texture.
Fancy.
When slicing potatoes, the right thickness is absolutely crucial. If the slices are too thin, they can become mushy and disintegrate during the baking process. This can result in a less appealing texture and a lack of distinct layers. Thin slices might also absorb too much of the creamy sauce, potentially leading to a soggy consistency. On the other hand, if the slices are too thick, they may not cook through properly. Thick slices can remain firm and undercooked, resulting in an uneven texture. The goal with scalloped potatoes is to achieve a perfect balance between tenderness and structure, and overly thick slices can disrupt this balance. To achieve the perfect texture, the slices should ideally be between 1/8 and 1/4 inch thick, and it's essential to maintain uniform thickness throughout. Using a mandolin or a vegetable slicer can help you be precise. If you don't have a mandolin, a sharp chef's knife can also do the job, although it requires a bit more care and attention to detail. Rinsing sliced potatoes before layering them in a scalloped potato dish is a common mistake that can impact the final texture and structure. The natural starch present in potatoes plays a crucial role in enhancing both the sauce and the overall form of scalloped potatoes. When potatoes are sliced, they release starch, which contributes to thickening the creamy sauce as the dish bakes. The starch absorbs some of the liquid, creating a velvety and rich consistency that defines the classic scalloped potato experience. Furthermore, the starch also helps bind the layers together, providing the dish with a cohesive structure. Rinsing the sliced potatoes removes this valuable starch, diminishing the thickening effect and potentially resulting in a less creamy sauce and a looser, less cohesive dish. Slicing potatoes ahead of time might seem like a time-saving strategy, but it can lead to an undesirable outcome. When they're exposed to air, sliced potatoes can develop a purple or gray tinge, which indicates oxidation. This discoloration is a sign that the potatoes have been sitting out for too long.
What took you so long?
To avoid this, you should slice the potatoes right before you need them. This ensures that they retain their natural color and freshness. However, it's worth noting that oxidized potatoes are still safe to eat and have the same taste and texture, even if they're less aesthetically pleasing. Some recipes might suggest placing sliced potatoes in water to prevent oxidation, but this approach has its drawbacks. Water can lead to the removal of starch from the potatoes, potentially affecting the thickening properties of the sauce during baking. So to preserve the integrity of the dish, it's definitely better to slice the potatoes right before assembling the scalloped potatoes. Scalloped potatoes are meant to be rich and delicious, so low-fat dairy is not your friend when making this dish, as it can compromise both the texture and the richness. There are two main reasons for avoiding low-fat dairy with scalloped potatoes. First, it will make the sauce have a higher risk of splitting. The reduced fat content can make the sauce less stable, leading to separation during the baking process. This can result in a less cohesive and less visually appealing dish. Second, low-fat dairy can also diminish the overall creaminess of scalloped potatoes. This dish's signature richness and velvety texture are achieved through the fats present in ingredients like whole milk or heavy cream. Opting for low-fat alternatives can lead to a thinner and less indulgent consistency. Some recipes call for whole milk or a mixture of cream and milk. If you want an even more decadent experience, substituting heavy cream for whole milk can certainly elevate the richness, as heavy cream adds a luxurious, silky quality to the sauce and makes it taste even better. One of the most common errors that leads to lackluster scalloped potatoes is under-seasoning. Potatoes are excellent at absorbing flavors, but they don't boast a robust taste on their own. So to elevate their deliciousness, it's essential to season them thoroughly. A well-seasoned sauce is the backbone of flavorful scalloped potatoes, but don't stop there, as each layer of potatoes deserves attention. Seasoning each layer with salt and pepper during assembly ensures that each bite is as tasty as you want it to be. This step adds depth and complexity by allowing the potatoes to absorb all that delicious seasoning. By seasoning at both the sauce and individual layer levels, you guarantee every mouthful tastes as good as the last. To be absolutely clear, you should be generous with your seasonings.
Do not be afraid of the pepper, Carlo. The pepper is your friend.
In addition to classic salt and pepper, you can experiment with white pepper or mixed peppercorns if you want to mix things up a bit without going too wild. And look to a trusted recipe to find the right ratio of salt and pepper to sauce and potatoes. The right baking dish often plays a crucial role in cooking, and that's certainly true when it comes to scalloped potatoes. If the dish is too deep and you need to stack your potatoes high, it can lead to uneven cooking. The top layer might then become overly browned or even risk burning in the oven, while the center of the dish may be undercooked. To achieve consistent and perfectly cooked scalloped potatoes, it's advisable to opt for a larger and shallower baking dish. This promotes even heat distribution, ensuring that each layer cooks uniformly. The shallower depth allows for better control over the browning process, preventing the top layer from getting too dark before the center has a chance to reach the desired level of doneness. If you're not sure what size dish to use, it's a good idea to check your recipe. Choosing the right baking dish may not seem like that big a deal, but you'll be able to taste the difference in the final product. Covering the dish with foil serves a crucial purpose when making scalloped potatoes. Without this cover, it can appear done on the surface while still being raw in the middle. Plus, if you cook the dish uncovered for the full cooking time, you risk a burnt top by the time that the center cooks through. The best method involves initially cooking the dish with a foil cover for the first 30 minutes of cooking. This protective layer ensures that the heat is evenly distributed, allowing the potatoes in the middle to cook through without the top layer becoming overly browned or burnt. After the initial 30 minutes, removing the foil and continuing to cook uncovered for another 20 to 30 minutes adds the finishing touches. This allows the top layer to develop a desirable golden brown crust without compromising an even bake. What a disappointment it would be to take your potatoes out of the oven only to realize that the creamy sauce has curdled. Several factors can cause this. One is excessive heat, wherein high temperatures prompt milk proteins to bind together, forming lumps.
It's too hot!
To prevent curdling, you should cook scalloped potatoes at a relatively low heat. Around 325 degrees Fahrenheit is ideal. When incorporating ingredients like onions or garlic, a preemptive step can be taken to reduce the risk of curdling. Cooking these ingredients before adding them to the dish helps release some of their acidity, which could contribute to curdling when combined with milk. Alternatively, try using an infused cream instead of whole chunks of onions. The choice of dairy is also important. As already noted, opting for whole milk or heavy cream is ideal, as a higher fat content reduces the likelihood of curdling. You should also check that your products are fresh, as older milk and cream are more prone to curdling. By paying attention to these details, you can ensure a velvety texture without that unpleasant curdled feeling. If you want scalloped potatoes with the perfect texture, and of course you do, it's vital that you make sure not to cook them for too long. For one thing, this can result in curdled dairy, and there's also the very real chance of mushy potatoes. The key is to cook the dish only until the potatoes reach a fork-tender state. To prevent overcooking, it's a good idea to start checking for doneness every few minutes in the last 5 to 10 minutes of cooking time. This vigilant monitoring will help you to ensure that you catch the potatoes at the right moment. By keeping a close watch, you'll achieve that delicate balance where the potatoes are tender enough to yield to a fork but still maintain their structure. One final common mistake when making scalloped potatoes, or cooking in general, is serving them immediately after you remove them from the oven. It's tempting to dive in right away, but allowing these spuds to cool and rest for 20 to 30 minutes will improve them immensely. It might seem like a long time to your rumbling belly, but it's absolutely worth it. Freshly baked scalloped potatoes are not only too hot to savor properly, but their true potential in terms of texture and flavor is best unlocked during the cooling period. As the potatoes settle, they firm up gradually, achieving a consistency that makes serving them a more refined and controlled affair. Rather than being left with wet, runny potatoes on your plate, these have a more cohesive texture. The pursuit of perfect scalloped potatoes entails achieving a creamy texture without losing control over the moisture in the dish. In addition to letting them cool and rest, serving them at a warm rather than scalding temperature enhances the overall enjoyment. This allows for a more nuanced appreciation of the flavors and the velvety texture. In essence, exercising patience in the final stages reaps abundant rewards on the dining table. The cooling period isn't just a practical consideration to avoid burns, it's an essential culinary strategy to ensure that each bite is as delicious as possible.
It's good. It's good. It's good.